Dark Side of Comedy is a documentary series that premiered on Vice TV on August 16th, 2022. Narrated by David Foley, who is known as the co-founder of the comedy group The Kids in the Hall, who also acted as Dave Nelson in the sitcom News Radio and Flick in A Bug's Life. It features cautionary tales about the lives and or deaths of popular stand-up comedians. Each episode, of course, profiles a comedian, namely Episode 1 profiles Chris Farley, who was born in 1964 and unfortunately died in 1997. Farley was known for his loud, energetic comedic style and was a member of Chicago's Second City Theatre and later a cast member of the NBC sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live for 5 seasons, from 1990 to 1995. He also went on to pursue a film career, appearing in films such as Airheads, Tommy Boy, Black Sheep, Beverly Hills Ninja, and Almost Heroes. From his early acting days through to the height of his fame, Farley struggled with substance abuse. He died of a drug overdose at the age of 33. Episode 2 deals with Andrew Dice Clay, an American stand-up comedian and actor who rose to prominence in the late 1980s with the brash, deliberately offensive persona known as the Dice Man. In 1990, he became the first stand-up comedian to sell out Madison Square Garden for 2 consecutive nights. That same year, he played the lead role in the comedy mystery film The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Clay had appeared in several films and television shows, including the critically acclaimed supporting roles in Woody Allen's Blue Jasmine and Bradley Cooper's directorial debut in The Star is Born. Episode 3 deals with Roseanne Barr, an American actress, comedian, and writer and producer. She began her career in stand-up comedy before gaining acclaim in the television sitcom series Roseanne from 1988 to 1997 and in 2018. She won an Emmy and a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress for her work on the show. She did, however, spark controversy when performing the Star-Spangled Banner at a nationally aired baseball game on July 25, 1990. After singing the anthem, which many believed to be a deliberately disrespectful manner, she grabbed her groin and spat. The performance was met with condemnation from baseball fans and sports writers and was called disgraceful by then-President George H.W. Bush. Barr has been active and outspoken on political issues. She unsuccessfully sought the Green Party's nomination for president in 2012, losing to physician Jill Stein. Later nominated by left-wing Peace Freedom Party, Barr received nearly 70,000 votes for president in 2012 presidential election. After Donald Trump announced his candidacy for president in 2015, Kelly Whale of the Daily Beast wrote that Barr veered right in her politics. After Roseanne was revived, Trump called her to congratulate her on her show's ratings and thank her for her support. She had frequently defended her support for Trump and has been criticized for making personal attacks and promoting conspiracy theories and fake news. Roseanne was revived in 2018 by ABC. A ratings success, it was renewed for an additional season, but was cancelled after Barr made a tweet condemned as racist by many commentators. She referred to the tweet as a bad joke, and she has since announced a comeback comedy special to be released on Fox Nation in 2023. The next episode deals with Richard Pryor, who was born in 1940 and died in 2005. He was an American stand-up comedian and actor, and he reached a broad audience with his trenchant observations and storytelling style. He's widely regarded as one of the greatest and most important stand-up comedians of all time. The show also covers the life of Artie Lang, an American stand-up comedian, actor, and radio personality, best known for his tenures on the sketch comedy series Mad TV and The Howard Stern Show. Raised in New Jersey, Lang first worked as a long horseman and a taxi driver to help support his family, following the death of his quadriplegic father. He debuted as a stand-up comedic in 1987 and took up the profession full-time 5 years later, developing an act in New York City. Unfortunately, in 1995, he was arrested for cocaine possession during a second season of Mad TV, which led to his departure and subsequent rehabilitation. After attempting suicide in 2010, Lang completed rehabilitation and hosted the Nick and Artie Show with Nick DiPaolo from 2011 to 2013. He did also have a recurring role in the HBO series Crashing and a stint as the co-host of the Artie and Anthony Show with Anthony Cumia in 2018. The next episode deals with Dustin Diamond, an American actor and stand-up comedian who's best known for portraying Samuel Screech Powers throughout the Saved by the Bell franchise. Diamond was convicted of 2 misdemeanors and carrying a concealed weapon and disorderly conduct in 2015. Unfortunately, though, he would lose his life to cancer in 2021 at the age of just 44. In one of the hardest-hitting episodes, the show now focuses on Freddie Prinze, who is an American stand-up comedian and actor. Prinze was the star of the NBC's TV sitcom Chico and the Man from 1974 until his death in 1977. He was described in a Vulture magazine article as having blown up like no other comedian in history. Prinze was the father of actor Freddie Prinze Jr. Unfortunately, though, Prinze suffered from depression, which deepened in the weeks after his wife filed for divorce. On the night of January 26, 1977, after talking on the telephone with his estranged wife, Prinze received a visit from his business manager Marvin Dusty Snyder. While Snyder was visiting him, Prinze put a gun to his head and shot himself. Prinze was rushed to the UCLA Medical Center and placed on life support following emergency surgery. His family removed him from life support and he died at 1 p.m. on January 29th, at just the age of 22. Prince had a history of playing Russian roulette to frighten his friends for his amusement, though he made his farewell phone calls to numerous family members and friends prior to shooting himself and left a note stating that he had decided to take his own life. In one of the more offbeat episodes, the show decides to focus on Maria Bamford, an American actress and stand-up comedian. Her work has drawn critical acclaim and controversy because of her humour, often using self-deprecating and dark topics, including her dysfunctional family, depression, anxiety, suicide, and mental illness. She has also done a lot of voiceover work, most notably doing Tito, the anxiety mosquito, in Big Mouth. In one of the more sadder episodes, the show now focuses on Greg Giraldo, an American stand-up comedian, television personality, and lawyer. He's remembered for his appearances on Comedy Central's televised roast specials and for his work on the network's television shows Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn, Louis Back's Root of All Evil, and the programming block Stand Up Nation, the last of which he hosted. Greg was a fully qualified lawyer, having studied at Harvard Law School. But having realized that law wasn't for him, he decided to become a stand-up comedian in 1992. Unfortunately, he lost his life on September 25, 2010, as he overdosed on prescription medication. And finally, the show focuses on Brett Butler, an American actress, writer, and stand-up comedian. She's best known for playing the title role in the ABC comedy series Grace Under Fire, for which she received 2 Golden Globe nominations. Unfortunately, she suffered with a drug addiction and had a big falling out with the show's producers. She has since then filed for bankruptcy and now works sporadically in TV shows and movies in small and recurring roles. Now look, I've been a big fan of the Dark Side series. I came across, of course, Dark Side of the Ring at first, and then I saw Dark Side of the 90s. So when I saw there was a show about the dark side of comedy, I knew I would be riveted and fascinated by this one, and I surely was. Each episode is concise and to the point, and really gives you a good background story to each of these personalities. I also found the people interviewed were very interesting and added a lot to each subject matter. One thing that's good about the Dark Side show is that it doesn't overstay its welcome. It gives you a lot of information in a short, compacted 45 minutes. I've always had a morbid fascination with comedians. On the one side, they're there to make you laugh, and of course, really are like the clowns of society, wearing a smile upon their face on the outside, but deep down, they hold such hurt and depression. They're also incredibly highly intelligent people, often geniuses. To come up with things like they do always astounds me. And of course, comedy is subjective. What makes you laugh might not make me laugh, and vice versa. But in the same breath, though, there is an immense talent in making people laugh and laugh at themselves or laugh at situations. And in the same breath, you have to be incredibly brave to get up in front of an audience and try your best to make them smile. There's a lot of tragedy in this show, of course. There are some happier moments to look back on, but I found some of the episodes really hit me hard, particularly, like I said, the one on Freddie Prinze, losing his life at just the age of 22. Freddie Prinze, of course, was diagnosed as a bipolar, but there was no treatment for it back then, and so unfortunately, through a diet of drugs and alcohol, he couldn't understand his mental condition. The episode, of course, on Richard Pryor is a must-see. Richard Pryor is, of course, an absolute legend of the comedy scene. He also acted in many films, particularly those with Gene Wilder. Pryor was groundbreaking, of course, and ahead of the game, and took on political subjects like racism, politics, and even religion. Unfortunately, though, Pryor, of course, had a huge drug problem, even setting himself on fire while doing cocaine and drinking rum. In 1986, he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and unfortunately died in 2005. Look, this series acts as a cautionary tale. Here you have this immense talent, this genius, this superb creativity, but unfortunately it's all mixed and intertwined with a deep, dark depression and a mental anguish that some of these people just cannot escape from. I found this series to be very introspective, fascinating, and well made. From its to-the-point running time, its well-researched subjects, and insightful narrative, Dark Side of Comedy gets a 9 out of 10.